Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, back with another video because it's such a huge weekend of recruiting for Tennessee football. And I made a video earlier this morning on Nick Moore. If you missed that, go back and give it a watch. Everything that went down with him on Wednesday, changing his official visit schedule, coming in town this weekend. I think that's big for Tennessee. And also just on the offensive line, reading the war room over at VolQuest this morning, I felt like one of the little lines that they put in there was huge news for Tennessee when it comes to the offensive line. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But if you missed this morning's video, go back and give it a watch. But talked a little bit about this, all the guys, all the talent that is going to be in town for official visits this weekend. Just look at the number of five-star prospects that will be here. Of course, headlined by five-star offensive lineman David Sanders. Jump in the comments right now. Stop what you're doing. Jump over there in the comments. Where are you at with David Sanders? Because I feel like Tennessee is the front runner. Give me a percentage. Where is Tennessee at in your eyes? We got a couple of five-star wide receivers in Caleb Cunningham and Jamie French, a five-star edge rusher in Isaiah Gibson, currently committed to USC. A lot of people think he's going to be flipping to Georgia, but Tennessee has an opportunity to get some momentum there. Jared Smith, another edge rusher that I like a lot. Coach Jay is really, really high on Jared Smith. If you missed the live stream Wednesday night, we kind of broke down this entire weekend of recruiting for Tennessee. Go back, give it a listen. Coach Jay, very, very high on Jared Smith. But again, huge news to me, and I'll let you guys break down the comments. But it comes to the offensive line, recruiting on the offensive line for Tennessee, if you get David Sanders in the boat. We've been talking about it, quite a bit the last couple of weeks because everything that went on with Jalen Matthews, right? He's a guy that loved himself some Tennessee. He was trending to Tennessee, felt like he was all Tennessee, wanted to play with David Sanders, wanted to block for George McIntyre, but then he ends up committing to Rutgers. He never took that visit to Tennessee, and the narrative that was out there from VolQuest, some of the others in the media, was that Tennessee was focused on David Sanders. They were focused on Josh Petty that they really moved the needle with last weekend as well, and another guy they were focused on is Juan Gaston. Outside of that, they're not really interested in any other tackles out there on the board. They're more focused on interior offensive linemen. And again, made the video on Nick Moore this morning. Jacoby Ward, Douglas Utu. They've already got Anthony Agamoro in the boat. So again, the priority at tackle is Josh Petty, David Sanders, and Juan Gaston. Why is that? This coaching staff is happy with where they're at with Bennett Warren. They're happy with where Jesse Perry's at. They're happy with Jeremiah Hurd, a guy that everybody said has the frame to play offensive tackle. He gave it a shot on the defensive line. Now he's jumping over to play tackle. They're happy with the progress that he's made. They're happy with Gage Ginther. You've got Lance Hurd in the boat, who's just a sophomore. Now you go get a guy like David Sanders. You pair that with Josh Petty, a guy that grew up a Tennessee fan. Curse or not, we'll see what happens there. And then the other guy that they mentioned, another priority that Tennessee was looking at, and that is this guy right here, Juan Gaston. He is a four-star offensive lineman ranked inside the top 200. A guy that we've talked a little bit about, kind of casually mentioned on this channel. I always felt like it was a reach to get Juan Gaston. Always felt like that one that was just out of arm's reach. But VolQuest put out some interesting information in the war room this morning. We're going to get into it. You can see there Ryan Callahan from GoVols 247 says top 24/7 offensive lineman Juan Gaston is ready for his official visit with Tennessee. He's not going to be rushing to a decision, and I think that's the interesting takeaway that we're going to get into, we're going to talk about. But as always, you guys know what to do. The YouTube stuff, help me out, hit the thumbs up. I would appreciate it. If you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. That's why I constantly mention Austin Price. I constantly mention GoVols 247, Chad Simmons, Steve Wiltfong. We take all the information that the experts give to you, and then we break it down and talk about it as fans, hanging out with your buddies, talking Vol football all day, every day, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click the bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We're going to be live Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing NCAA football. We're launching the EA Sports College Football Patreon. If you want to be a part of the official Talkin VAWLS Dynasty, you've got to be here on Tuesday night. We're going to be auctioning off who gets to pick their team first. It's all going down Tuesday. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be talking all things ball football recruiting for the next 2 weeks. So make sure you come hang out, get in where you fit in. Let's talk about Juan Gaston. You can see the profile on the screen there. Four-star, listed as an interior offensive lineman, but he's 6'7", 360, and a lot of people think he's got the frame to ultimately play offensive tackle. There's no scouting report out there on him, but this is what his high school football coach, Morris Mitchell, had to say about Juan Gaston. Says his ability to bend is top tier. Says, I've never seen a kid that big be able to bend as well as he does. I've seen him be at the front squat and overhead squat all the time. He's getting his bottom to his calf muscle. That's special. He's able to move. He's one of the best athletes we have on our team. Now, go back to this morning's video about Nick Moore. That is something that we are regularly seeing with this coaching staff and offensive line recruiting is athleticism. They recruit a lot of guys that play offense and defense, and they show that athleticism. His head coach goes on to say he's a once-in-a-lifetime, he's a once-in-a-generation top talent. I think he's the number one offensive lineman in the country. I've never seen a kid that big and that fast be able to dunk a basketball, squat as low as he does, and power clean 300 pounds with ease. So that's what his high school coach had to say about Juan Gaston's game. And again, we talk about elite quarterbacks like Nico, elite quarterbacks like George McIntyre, elite quarterbacks like Brandon, who I think is also trending to Tennessee in the class of 26. We'll see how his recruitment plays out. We talk about elite playmakers at wide receiver like Mike Matthews, like Braylon Staley, like Squirrel White. We talk about elite running backs like Peyton Lewis. I was just talking to Nelson and Jackson yesterday about Peyton Lewis and how a lot of people think he's going to be a special guy once his career is all said and done. What happens when you have elite bulldozers out front like David Sanders, like Lance Hurd, like Juan Gaston, Bennett Warren? We questioned Glenn Ellerby's ability to recruit, but I think he missed on those first couple of cycles, but I think we're dialed in. So what's the news? What got Boogie so excited about Juan Gaston? Again, a guy that I felt like was a long shot, that he was a reach. VolQuest this morning in the War Room, I'm going to summarize it, basically said Tennessee is the biggest threat to pull Juan Gaston out of Georgia. Mentioned the fact that he took his visit to Georgia earlier in the month and did not pull the trigger. He took that official visit. It was his first official visit. We thought that Georgia may strong-arm him, kind of force him into the boat, put him under the pressure. Commit now or you don't have a spot. We're seeing that a lot. We saw it with Nick Moore last week. This is where it gets interesting. Says Juan Gaston has dodged a couple of Georgia reporters and insiders that were looking for updates about his recruitment. What does that mean? Followed it up by talking about how Juan Gaston and his family have built strong relationships in Knoxville, and the Vols have an opportunity to swing the momentum this weekend. Now, what does that mean to you? Is Boogie crazy? I think it's huge. I think it's huge that he has been dodging Georgia reporters. Don't talk to me. I'm in the process of going on official visits. I don't want to talk about it. Matt Ray followed it up. He said most people think that Georgia will still win out in the end. He says it's just a bit interesting that he has dodged some reporters. Now he's also not a big talker, but still just a piece of info to pass along. Tennessee has the best shot of pulling him away from Georgia in the end, in my opinion. It's not going to be easy to do, though. Now, here's where it gets interesting to me. Tennessee has an opportunity. Tennessee has the best opportunity to pull him away from Georgia. Again, he already took his official visit to Georgia. He's at Tennessee this weekend. He'll be at Oregon next weekend. And then I was reading an article with GoVols 247, and they said he also plans to take some official visits throughout the course of the season, possibly Florida State, possibly Texas. So my question to you guys, as we talk about Juan Gaston and Tennessee having an opportunity to kind of shift momentum, if you missed the live stream Wednesday night, Coach Rice was talking a lot about your opportunities to go out and prove something on the field, and how there are going to be some guys that flip, and there are going to be some new guys that come out of the woodwork, and all of a sudden you've got some elite prospects out there on the board. How important is the 2024 season for Josh Heupel? I saw this on Twitter. A lot of you guys tagged me in it. On 3 Sports, Andy Staples put out his preseason college football playoff predictions. Tennessee right there at 11th. He's got Tennessee predicted to be in the mix. How important is the success on the field for the class of 2025? You go out and win 10 games, and you make an appearance in the college football playoff. How much does that influence some of these kids like Juan Gaston that are not ready to make a decision? They're going to go into the season. They're going to watch. They're going to keep an eye. And if Tennessee is hot, and when you look at the schedule, when you look at Tennessee's schedule for 2024, and you look at the way it's laid out, there is a huge opportunity for Tennessee to have some big-time hype going into the back half of the schedule. You open up with Chattanooga. You got NC State. Some people concerned. I'm not. You got Kent State. I think you're going to be 3-0 going on the road to play Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I've stressed a lot about that game. I like the matchup with offensive line versus defensive line. Their offensive line has struggled, and they didn't get any better throughout the course of the spring season, the spring practice, the transfer portal. You got on the road against Arkansas. Tennessee, I'm calling it now. Tennessee is going to come out of the first half of this season at 6-0. That game against Florida on October the 12th is going to be electric. Tennessee 5-0. Florida comes to town, possibly college game day, electric environment. Then you follow that up with Alabama coming to town. There's going to be a lot of eyes on Tennessee. It's going to be a lot like that 2022 season where college game day is back in Knoxville. The national media is talking about Tennessee. The national media is talking about Nico. They're talking about James Pierce. And I think when that happens, that's why this is huge news that Juan Gaston is going to hold off that commitment, because when that happens, when Tennessee is in the national media, when Tennessee is the hot team to talk about, that's going to play huge dividends for Josh Heupel on the recruiting trail. That's why I think 2024 is going to be the most important season for Josh Heupel in his tenure at the University of Tennessee. What do you guys think? Let's jump into the comment section. Is Boogie crazy? Does it mean absolutely nothing? Is Juan Gaston going to Georgia? Let's talk about it in the comment section. Make sure you smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. If you like the videos, the content, or the live streams, think about hitting that join button. It's right over there beside subscribe. It's just $1 a month. If you like what we do and you want to support the channel, you want more content coming your way, the members of this channel are what gives me the opportunity to do that. You want to be a part of it, think about hitting that join button. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, access to fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits, but more importantly, you keep the lights on around here. But that is going to do it for this one. Hope you guys have a great Friday. More content coming your way probably throughout the weekend, but that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.